The secret of Ian McKellen and why he's so wonderful is that he's as nervous and unsure of himself today as he was on the first day he went on stage.
Virgin Radio.
One of your colleagues asked me earlier on, what's the worst review I've ever had? I can literally remember it word for word, but I'm not going to repeat it, because why would I do that? But the truth is, if you get something that isn't very complimentary, it can affect you. But that's part of the job, is you've got to learn to get a thick skin, realise it's only somebody's opinion, and you can't really let it affect you. But if you do think that, then you can't believe the positive ones either. You can't wander around thinking you're brilliant because someone's giving you a nice review and ignore the bad ones.
Getting a bit of a mix is important.
Yeah. Keeping your feet on the ground is important.
Getting to go head-to-head with Sir Ian McKellen.
Well, first off, he's a legend, so being in his company, you feel like you're connected to theatre history. But I did a play with him back in 1990 when he was Richard III. I was in the company, so I knew him back then. So it was kind of lovely to catch up with him again, all that 30 years later.
I've had the privilege of working with some amazing actors in my career, and so I just felt very lucky that these amazing people came. I mean, I wasn't surprised because Patrick's script is really special, and so that has nothing to do with me. I think they would have come on board the script with anybody saying action and cut. And then my job was really just to make sure that there was space for them to do their best work, put the frame in place for them and make sure everyone had a nice time and left the party in a good mood at the end of it all. This is a testament to Gemma's skill, because Gemma has to play an actor in the 1930s, acting in the 1930s, which the style of that's very different from today, and then she has to be a bad version of that and then a good version of that, as well as being the character. That's really hard. That's like, Maradona level, Rabona and scoring a goal at the World Cup. That's super high level skill that she has. And she did it effortlessly, but I think it all works in the end because Gemma's it's all from the heart. She just feels it, She's got all the technique, but she's able to marry technique with just who she finds herself feeling in the role. Herself. God, that was pretentious, wasn't it? Something like that.
I kind of always wanted Gemma to play Nina Land, but writers very rarely get what they want, so I try not to write for people because you'd be disappointed. But when it was Ian, I was completely thrilled. It is just such fun to see someone like Ian in full flight in a part that he's clearly enjoying doing. It was just a thrill. He's one of my favourite actors in the world and always has been, and I just hope people love his performance as much as I do.
I think particularly great to see him play someone, I'm not going to say who's the villain because it's more, he's a mess of contradictions, Ian. I think he's, on the one hand, he's an outsider, and yet he's desperate to be part of the establishment. The establishment despises him. I think it's just brilliant to see him play that kind of role, which is, we're used to sort of the Gandalf, sort of slightly more avuncular figures, and this is definitely a change of pace.
It's an amazing movie. It's a period drama, it's brilliant. There's a lot going on. The locations filming were beautiful. Couldn't really ask for much more at my age, being such a young actor with everyone being so experienced, but I learned a lot from them and I can't really ask for much more than that.
He's a legend. There's not more to say. So Ian, Gemma Arterton, Mark Strong, Leslie Manville, it's an incredible all-star cast that we have in this movie. So you couldn't get a more typically British movie than this, which is why it's so great that we're supporting it.
Well, here's the amazing thing, because you would think it's Ian McKellen, greatest living actor, and the remarkable thing about him, when I first met him and you turn up on set on day one, he's as scared and nervous and has, as filled with imposter syndrome as sort of we all are. And it doesn't matter that he's been working and won everything, been an amazing actor all his life. I think the secret of Ian McKellen and why he's so wonderful is that he's as nervous and unsure of himself today as he was on the first day he went on stage. And it's that quality of childlike innocence about the process and joy in discovering it, and that's what makes him so wonderful.
Oh, it's amazing because the film's been re-edited and reworked a bit after Toronto, and it's amazing to get that opportunity to look at it again and improve it. So I've actually never seen this cut that we're seeing tonight, so I'm very excited.
It's always funny, isn't it, that it's a year after you've done something that you come and watch it and have a talk about it, but they mostly take that long. It feels great. You know, when you're doing something, it's really fractured. You come in, you do your scenes, you don't know how it's going to be, you're not in the edit, you don't know what sort of thing is going to turn out at the end of it. So it's lovely that it's here and people seem to be really positive about it.
It's never easy, ever, to make British independent films, ever. But, you know, truthfully, once we got the material in front of everybody, it wasn't that hard, right? Because obviously you've got to fit in people's schedules and availabilities and everything else, but, you know, you read that script and it hooks you, just like it hooked me. So, you know, so many people wanted to speak those words. You know, much like a lot of great people who have worked with Anand and worked with Patrick, you know, if you think about Closer and you think about Clive Owen and Julia Roberts and Natalie Portman, all these people, you know, ultimately in filmmaking, it all starts with the words, you know, and we were just really blessed that we had an amazing wordsmith in Patrick. So, yeah, never easy, but really, really thrilled with how it's all turned out.
It's absolutely a brilliant performance. I think partly on Gemma, I think Mark and Leslie. We have an incredible British cast. I think Patrick's screenplay is absolutely wonderful. Our director Anand has captured the performances fantastically well. And I think there's something for everyone in this film. You know, there's humour and wit, there's the thriller elements, so no, I'm very confident. And I think it is the kind of film that, you know, we don't see enough of now. I think, you know, it's a tough old time for British independent cinema, and I think, you know, certainly my mother would say we're underserved by, you know, the films that get made. So, you know, I think there's a lot for people. So Bill Kenwright, who's well known to many people, both in the theatre and in Everton Football Club. He's a complete one-off. I always remember when I first went to see him about this, and very unlike any financier conversation I'd had, and he sort of said, well, we're in and we'll do it. And he had this wonderful catchphrase where he said, no risk, no magic. And my God, you know, he really did take risks, and we'll be eternally grateful to Bill. God bless him.
Well, you know, this was something that Bill was incredibly passionate about. You know, when I came to join Bill nearly 4 years ago, this was actually the first project that I presented to him and said I felt this would be something that would fit perfectly with the new company BK Studios that we were launching, because it just screamed talent. You know, Patrick Marber is such an incredible writer, both screenwriter and also all of the theatre work that he's done. And Bill, obviously being so entrenched in both the world of film and theatre, was so excited, as I was, to work on a Patrick Marber film. You know, we were both huge fans of Closer and Notes on a Scandal, and so to have the opportunity to do Patrick's next one was just something we both really wanted to do. And, you know, reading this, we just felt that the lead in Jimmy Erskine was so tailor-made for Ian McKellen. It was like it was written for him. And so, yeah, there were so many things that made that project fit for us, especially as a company, being that we make lots and lots of theatre and we make film. To do something about a vicious 1930s theatre critic, where, you know, during a time when theatre was so supreme, it just fitted for us like a glove. So, yeah, very excited, very proud, and I'm really proud that this film is getting the release that it deserves. It's going out next Friday on over 600 screens. You know, and for a British independent film to be able to do that is such a testament, I think, to, you know, to Patrick, to Anand, you know, incredible director, and this cast, you know, to have Ian McKellen, Gemma Arterton, Mark Strong, Leslie Manville, just, you know, so blessed and so privileged to do it.
The cinema I have a belief that it's going to come back in great strength over the next couple of years. I think we've all seen since COVID, streamers and television audiences have sort of so much choice at home, but actually I think people want to start coming out. There's almost too many films to watch on the streaming services and on television, and I think to identify really strong British stories that British audiences can relate to, I think is really important, and I think they'll hopefully come back in their millions.
Virgin Radio.